The Republic of Namibia is a country in southern Africa, bordering Zambia and Angola to the north, Botswana to the east and South Africa to the south. With a total area of over 825,000 square kilometers, Namibia is the world's 34th largest country, which makes it a bit larger than Turkey and a bit smaller than Pakistan. So Namibia really is a big country, but still it only has about 2.7 million inhabitants. Only Mongolia is less densely populated than Namibia. Namibia's official language is English, however it has many more languages with official status, such as German, Afrikaans, Otiherero and many more. This makes it possible to draw conclusions about the country's diversity and culture. About 90% of the population identifies as Christian, while 10% believe in other traditional faiths. The largest cities of Namibia are Windhoek, which is the capital city of Namibia, followed by Rundu, Walvis Bay, and Oshakati. This country is famous for its incredible vastness. Namib actually translates as vast place. It is known for the fact that about half of the country is protected, for its strange little arm to the Zambezi River, for being home to the oldest desert worldwide, for being one of the most free and democratic countries in Africa, and for the German influence in the 19th and 20th century. But as we will find out later, Namibia has much more than that to offer. Namibia was part of South Africa until 1990. That is why the flag of Great Britain and South Africa were used after the flag of the German colony of Southwest Africa. It was only after independence 31 years ago that the flag of Namibia was officially adopted. Officially, no meaning is assigned to the colors of the flag, but the following interpretation is common. Red stands for Namibia's most important resource, its population. It refers to their heroic behavior and the common will to achieve a future with equal opportunities for all. White stands for peace and unity, green for vegetation and fertility, blue for the sky, the Atlantic Ocean, the water reserves and rain, and the golden sun for life and vitality, energy and warmth. The 12 rays of the sun are a symbol of the different ethnic groups that are living in this country. There are also various other national, political and regional flags. The animals on the coat of arms of Namibia are the African fish eagle, which has excellent eyesight and therefore symbolizes the view into the future, the oryx, which is known for its courage, elegance and pride, and the Welwitschia mirabilis, which is a desert plant that symbolizes strength and toughness. In Namibia, people pay with the Namibian dollar. The Namibian economy is the world's 125th largest, but it unfortunately also has extreme inequalities in income distributions and standard of living. Furthermore, the unemployment rate is at about 34%, which means that every third Namibian worker is unemployed. It is considered a developing and emerging country. Namibia's main export goods are natural materials such as diamonds, copper, gold, zinc, uranium, but also fish products. The clean and cold South Atlantic waters off the coast of Namibia are home to some of the richest fishing grounds in the world. The fishing industry is the fastest growing industry in terms of employment and exports. About half the population depends on the agricultural industry, which makes it another significant part of the Namibian economy. However, Namibia still has to import food, mostly from South Africa, and droughts are threatening this economic sector. Tourism contributes 14.5% to the total Namibian GDP, creating tens of thousands of jobs. And this is not surprising since Namibia has many wildlife attractions to offer. But we will take a look at them soon. Moreover, ecotourism gains more and more of importance. Namibia's main export partners are South Africa, Botswana and Switzerland, probably because of the gold exports, whereas its largest import partner is South Africa, with over 61% of all imports. Later in this video, I'm gonna read out a small report from Hans-Jürgen, who is a German citizen and runs a blog called africaspecialist.com. Even though Hans-Jürgen did not move to Namibia, he is very familiar with this country as he has been visiting his brother who moved to Namibia for years. It was really hard to find someone who knows a bit about Namibia, so therefore I'm really happy that I found someone who is able to share his personal experiences with Namibia. If you have an idea which country I should cover next, please let me know down in the comments. This video is part of a video series that covers informative facts and the migration procedure of many countries around the globe. I've created a dedicated video for countless countries worldwide. You can find the playlist linked in the video description below. But let's return to Namibia. What are the main upsides of moving to Namibia and what needs to be considered? As of the 2019 UN report, Namibia ranks 119th among the countries with the largest foreign-born population. About 107,000 people living in Namibia were not born there but moved to this country during their lifetime. Sadly, I couldn't find out which are the largest foreign-born populations. A fact worth knowing is that the median age is at 21.4 years. This means that half the population is older than 21 years and the other half is younger than that. This makes Namibia a very young country, which comes with great potential for the economy. But what are the main upsides of moving to Namibia? Let us begin with the climate. The daily mean temperatures range from 13.1 degrees Celsius in July up to 23.5 degrees Celsius in December. Since Namibia is located in the southern hemisphere, the warmest months are December and January, while the coldest months are June and July. However, temperatures can rise up to 37 degrees Celsius. On average, there are about 10 hours of sunshine a day in Windhoek, which is double the amount of sunshine hours in London. Also, nature is an upside of this country. There are enormous deserts and a beautiful country on your doorstep, offering many activities. The Fish River Canyon, where one can find the Fish River, which is Namibia's longest river, national parks, tourist attractions in the town of Swakopmund, and ghost towns in the vast deserts are waiting for you to explore. Namibia's coastal desert is one of the oldest deserts in the world. Its sand dunes, created by the strong onshore winds, are the highest in the world with a height of up to 300 meters. The landscape of Namibia is mainly characterized by the two deserts Namib and Kalahari, and there are also huge mountain ranges in this country. The highest point is the Königstein with a height of 2,600 meters. Another upside is the diversity in culture. Namibia is a melting pot of many African cultures combined with a small European influence, mainly from Germany. There are at least 11 major ethnic groups with their distinct culture noticeable in dress, language, art, music, sport, food and religion. As Namibia is home to many different cultures, there is no defined Namibian cuisine. However, one can say that meat plays an important role in most of the country's cultures. Beef and lamb is common, but also meat of antelopes, zebras, ostriches, crocodiles and other wild animals is popular. Chicken is also common, pork however isn't. Fish is popular on the coastal regions of the country. Another upside that people living in Namibia mention is that this country generally seems to have fewer tensions between different types of ethnicities. Also, people are not only considered super friendly and helpful, but also very relaxed. Even in the capital city, people aren't that stressed. Furthermore, Namibia is one of the safest countries in Africa. In fact, it ranks 4th among all African countries in terms of security. And since the country's population is small and young, there are plenty of economic opportunities, and one being the first to bring something new or unique to the Namibian market. Let us take a look at the country's cost of living. If you live off $3,000 a month in Houston, Texas, you need about $1,660 for the same quality of life in Windhoek. This makes living in Windhoek about 45% less expensive than living in Houston. So this may also be considered an upside of moving to Namibia. However, there are also some drawbacks that you need to consider when moving to Namibia. For African measures, Namibia still is a very expensive country. Windhoek is just about 10% cheaper than Cape Town in South Africa, which itself is considered an expensive city in Africa. Especially housing prices are very high and almost unaffordable for Namibian citizens. Also, all imported products are a bit pricier. Let's continue with interviewing Hans-Jürgen. When was the first time in Namibia and which parts of the country have you been to? I was in Namibia for the first time in 1967 and then I visited Namibia every 2 years. What do you like most about Namibia? The enormous vastness of the country and the small population make it possible to visit Namibia without hustle and bustle. The number of sites and attractions is very high. Even after visiting Namibia over 30 times or so, I still have a lot of destinations I want and will visit. What is worse than in Germany? It is completely different from Germany. Even in the townships, things are in order and I love visiting them with a local guide. This is important because the money stays there and doesn't go to international corporations. These visits are very interesting and give an overview of the cultures in the country. I also do Bushman tours on regular basis. It is so interesting to see how the San, that's a collection of terms for some indigenous ethnic groups in Namibia, have managed to live and maintain their culture up to this day. Phone and internet don't always work, especially in the rainy season. What has changed in the country between 1967 and today? I don't really know, to be honest, except that I used to pay 4.5 Deutsche Mark for 1 rand and today I get 17 Namibian dollars for 1 euro. That of course makes traveling to southern Africa very inexpensive. I was always fascinated by the countryside and try to avoid big cities. German used to be one of the official languages, but it is no longer that common. A large part of the population is not at all happy with this. English and Afrikaans are spoken predominantly in the city and in shops. Tribal languages are common on the countryside. Children in school have enormous problems. How noticeable is the German influence today? Germans dominated agriculture for decades. They ran farms very efficiently and successfully. A large number of farms ran by white farmers were expropriated and given to successors of color. That went terribly wrong. The farms were not nearly as profitable as they used to be. Please don't get me wrong, in my brother's neighborhood, there is a black farmer who runs his farm very profitable. The neighborhood in which he is living in is excellent and people get along very well. In business and in the larger cities, especially in Windhoek, German culture is still somewhat present. I think that people get along better today as in the past. What advice would you give people who are interested in moving to Namibia? In order to move to Namibia, you have to think carefully about the huge size of the country and the fact that it only has about 2.5 million inhabitants. This means that the majority of the population lives in a few larger cities and the rest of the country is very empty. Also, think about how far you want to settle down from any hospital. Many farmers died on the way to the doctor because the distance was just too great. The mentality is also completely different. In Namibia, everything revolves about the weather, more precisely the rain. That can be a bit boring in the long run. I am convinced that one should travel to and experience Namibia before deciding to move to Namibia. Swakopmund, the paradise for senior citizens of Namibia and abroad, is a bit too small for me. But Lüderitz deep in the south, a city built on solid rock, would be an alternative, you just have to like it. Moving to Namibia needs to be very well planned. For me, there would be absolutely no doubt that it would be the right thing to move to Namibia if I didn't have a family here. I also have family in Namibia and lots of friends there. I can converse in English, German and a little bit of Afrikaans. Thanks Hans-Jürgen for this little report. You can check out his blog down in the video description, it's in German though. But what needs to be done in order to move to Namibia? People from many different countries in Europe, North America and Southern Africa, as well as Brazil, Australia and many more countries, can visit Namibia visa-free for up to 3 months. This comes in handy since it allows you to experience this country on your own before deciding to move there. Even though there is little information online available regarding moving to Namibia, there seems to be a business visa that is valid for 1 to 2 years. However, the employer must prove that reasonable efforts were made to first employ a Namibian. If you want to find out more information regarding the different visa types that Namibia has to offer, please take a look at the webpage linked in the video description down below.